juiced up in the thing, so I was just like... Yeah.
She was ready for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was fun. She was cool and everything, but it was just like, yeah, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I felt like I was a dog. Like she got a dog. You know, chicks get a dog.
That's how I get through. With the inflection. With the inflections and the voice and stuff.
That would annoy you?
Fucking read it.
That's so funny.
Read it like a bailiff. Read it like a bailiff.
Like a bailiff.
Dude, I remember, I have that rep and like, oh, this guy's sticking it to the man, you know?
So, I got pulled over for drunk, good one. Like, you paid money. You got a good one. Guy dieted down for that.
Yes, he did. He got all the abs.
Bobby.
We eat fish and chips.
I'll turn on the old light here. Hey, so Jizo Pete's. The filming sort of just fell apart there. All it was shots of my butt and my back. So we're gonna, I'm gonna show you. The thing's all done. It's all tuned. It's all set up. It's actually been running for weeks now, and I've been really busy. And I probably should have gotten this video up a long time ago. Here it is. This is the pump that I was struggling with. That rubber collar slides over the pump. You keep it at a 30-degree angle, about. That's more like a 45. Yeah. Alright, I got a fender washer, screw, PVC block going right into the plywood there. But there's sealant and glue, and it's all, no leaks. So you get a piece of big black hose, you put that over the nipple on the pump, hose clamp. I've heard these called Jubilee clips. Also, I call them hose clamps. Hose clamp. Fuel line goes into that rubber tube, hose clamp. Couple weeks now, no leaks. Fuel filter. Make sure it's up and down like this. Alright. Screw on cap right there. It's at the top. Okay, all the air bubbles are at the top. All the fuel with zero air is at the bottom. Again, hose clamp, tube, fuel line into the tube. I just have some 10 wire here bent to make a sort of a rack for the pump to keep it straight up and down. Got the 5-gallon fuel tank sitting in the tub. No leaks, bone dry. It's great. So the pump goes up into the bottom of the unit, and you know what? I want to get some metal and wrap it around here and make a heat shield to sort of keep the heat off of the plywood from the exhaust pipe. But it's in the center of the hole, and it doesn't get that hot actually. So there's the stand that I made. IKEA legs screwed to the metal plate that the heater came with. There's the intake and the exhaust and the fuel. Fuel, intake, exhaust. It took me a while to tune the thing, so it ran really hot for a while. And you can see the stainless steel sort of began to oxidize right there. I did have it running above the conflagration point of paper. So I've got it tuned now to where the case temperature doesn't really get above 180, which is Celsius, which is pretty good. So that's the thing. See the control panel here. That's it. Goes back to the battery. It's running directly off the battery. It's not running from the 12-volt bus, output bus coming off of the controller. It's running directly off the battery because it draws 8 or 9 amps, something like that, when it's initially igniting, because the glow plug sucks a lot of amperage. So I got it running on big thick wire right to the battery. I think the output limit of this 12-volt bus is maybe 2 amps total, so couldn't do it. There it is. Got the remote set up for it also, and I'll show you that display and I'll show you the remote later. Let's go outside and see what it looks like. I got the exhaust and the intake going through a metal plate in the wall. Little holes in the metal plate, big holes in the wall, in the wood. So it's only touching metal out there. Hang on. This is how it's coming out of the wall. Everything's turned downward for water drips, and you can see it's raining. There's no water getting into the shed right now. High temperature sealant, big perimeter around the hot metal pipe for the wood, but it's resting on the aluminum, and that plate acts as a heat sink also. Don't really need it so much for the intake, but again, like I said, the aluminum plate acts as a heat sink, so it's large, and that's good. And haven't had any problems. I've been running it for weeks. I do need to snap off these screws though. Dangerous. Dangerous. Yeah. So it's a muddy, rainy, overcast day right now. It's like 10 in the morning and I'm getting 0 amps incoming from the solar panels. But I've got a good charge on the battery, and I have a 12-volt AC charger coming from an extension cord run from the house, so I can tinker and experiment and tune the thing. Here's the thing. Alright, so I had the settings. That's the time. I already set it. Hit OK, go through the numbers. Next one is timers, right there. They're both off, but I can have it turn on and off when I want it to. Password. 1. I gotta go around with the one-handed camera. 6. 8. 8. Alright, I got minimum pump. 0.9 times a second. Yeah, sure, whatever. Maximum 4.4 times a second. Yeah, I go more than that, and the thing overheats. Minimum fan speed is the minimum fan speed. It does math, it regulates it. I can set the stuff minimum, it's fine. It balances fan speed with fuel when it's doing it. Maximum, set it to the very maximum, because you want to run lean so you don't carbon soot up all your stuff. So more air is good, just you can't overdo the maximum air. 12 volt is what I'm running it off of. And this is, SN is the fan sensor. Depending on, I didn't crack it open, I just know that one of these does it slower, one of these tends to make the fan run faster, and it seems to run better with the one that makes the fan run faster. So that's what I'm using. I know you're supposed to open it up and look it up. It got me out. It reset back to the home screen. I know you're supposed to open up and look at the polarity of the magnets in the rotor of the fan. And then whether or not you have like 2 at the same polarity or 1, you gotta use that proper setting. But you know what? I found what works, and it's safe, and it keeps the casing temperature nice and cool, and it heats up this big drafty barn just fine. So I'm good with it. I'm good with just run the fan on the faster setting. SN2. So I go with SN2. We're gonna go to the next setting. PF. All right, that's the power of the glow plug. That's there's a table you can look up online that tells you what amperages this works at. This runs to, like, let's say you get a different glow plug and it's really efficient and you can run it at a lower setting so you don't use as much power. But this was at 5. 5's working. 5's what I use. That's the default anyway. This, if I go to on from off, that's going to let me change that password number I put in to get to this advanced menu. I don't want to do that. I'm going to leave this the way it is. That's the last setting in that advanced menu also. So if I hit OK again, it goes back to the home screen, tells me what time it is. But you know what? It's like 10 in the morning, not 10 at night. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, that's it. You hit these buttons if you want to change the thermostat temperature that it's set to. What do I keep it at? 20. Keep it at 20C, which is 40, 56, like 70 Fahrenheit. Hit OK. It tells you what the ambient temperature is. It's 18 centigrade now. 18, 27, 36, 46, 56, 66 Fahrenheit about. It's set to 20C. Running at 12 volt. Oh, that's the battery. It tells you how much voltage is in the battery right now. So I'm like at halfway through the discharge. 12.5. I can go down to 11 maybe and be safe. That's my elevation. I'm 184 meters above sea level. That's the last error code I got, and I didn't get an error code, so I'm error 0. That's good. And there you go. That's what happens when you run through the OK menu. It's just different status things. Alright, let's go. I don't know. Let's turn it on. You just hold down the power button, turns it on. And it goes through a bunch of steps. It takes a while. It's doing things. That's actually animated and spinning, but I think the refresh rate of the camera is making it look like a static image. It's actually animated. It's a spinning, flickering, animating fan. Huh. You sort of see it flicker, anyway. You can tell that the computer's pulsing something through it to make it change. Those are telling you that it's now taking air from the intake and exhausting air from the exhaust. That red one tells you that the glow plug is on. So if I had an ammeter hanging off of the hot wire from this, it'd slowly be reading up from 0 to 8 or 9 amps. And then at around the 8 or 9 amp mark is when ignition would happen, because it'd be hot enough to ignite the fuel. So you're going to hear the pump click on, start clicking on and feeding fuel right about at the time the thing reaches ignition temperature. I've already got the fuel line primed. There's a mode you can kick this into that'll just prime it, just pump only. Look it up. It's online. I've already got it primed. It's clicking. so it's pumping fuel. There's no air in the line, so it should get a nice clean start, a nice consistent burn. I've been doing this for a while. It works flawlessly. You run it lean, more air, less fuel, won't sit up, and then just downgrade your maximum fuel flow, and it won't overheat. Just find that sweet spot. Okay, so we got ignition. It's already raised in temperature 1 bar. And if I touch the exhaust, it's getting warmer. It's not hot, but it's definitely getting warmer. So we had successful ignition. It's blowing slightly warmer air. It's going to take a minute for the heat exchanger to actually heat up. It's a lot of aluminum, big mass, because it's cheap casting. So these tend to be bigger than the expensive ones. These Chinese knockoffs tend to be larger than like the German ones, because the German ones use better metal, better casting, more consistent heat exchange. These, they get around the cheap metal problem by just making them larger. Works great though. It's only a little bit larger. Okay, let's go upstairs and play with the remote control. Jeez, it's raining hard. Alright, I'm up here on the balcony, about 30 feet away from the old Shedderino. There it is. Here's the remote. And it's a weak radio, so all the myths about it having a bad range are probably due to people holding it like this and it not being able to connect. But if you hold it like that, it's connecting, and it's about 30 feet away, 35 feet away right now, I don't know. And there you go. Connected, there's the temperature it's set to. No, that's the temperature it is now. That's the temperature it's set to. That's the case temperature. Battery voltage. There you go. Okay. And you can set the thermostat temperature up and down with that from here. Alright, it's raining. I gotta get the camera out of the rain. That's the video. That's the heater. The heater's running right now. It's going well. I'm not getting anything solar though. I have a third panel. Might put that up. Next video, I don't know, man. You know what? I think I'm gonna show y'all the Google SketchUp model of this band that I've been working on for a while now. I'll just run you all through it, and we'll get a good idea of what I'm trying to accomplish. Yeah. Peace, love, and waffles.